can assure you, every Monday by 9, I have the results for the previous week. But not at your numbers of passengers. Even...
So you can tell me how much you guys made last week. How much did you make last week?
This Friday, take a journey with us to the skies with Jambojet CEO Karanja Ndegwa. Find out what it takes to run the 16 billion shilling revenue company that does up to 400 landings a week.
We do about 14,000 landings a year. Every week we are doing about 400 landings.
He tells us how he set himself apart very early on in his career, and he gives us a play-by-play for how he ended up as a Jambojet CEO. He tells us that being the CEO sometimes is just about bravery.
Our revenues are about 16 billion shillings. And achieving that and growing that by over 15% yearly and returning a profit bottom line, I think it's worth every moment.
And he goes into detail about the bravest thing he's ever done as Jambojet CEO.
I remember during COVID, we set up a route in 2 hours.
What are the key milestones that happen for you that allow you to become this person? Hey guys, this is Barak from Financially Incorrect. I am here to say thank you so much for the 50k plus people who have subscribed to Financially Incorrect. We really do appreciate you. When we crossed 50k, we had a nice, small, intimate party at our offices and we celebrated this milestone. I have convinced the powers that be that if we can get to 100k by December, we will throw a big party to celebrate with all of you guys. And now we have 3 different segments for you guys to watch. There's Financially Incorrect Business Edition, Financially Incorrect Uganda Edition, and Financially Incorrect, the regular Kenyan edition. So please do, if you like our content, subscribe. If we get to 100k by December, we will throw the biggest party in East Africa. So please do subscribe. Hey everybody, welcome back to Financially Incorrect. I am your host, Barak. It's a Friday, and so I have a personal money story for you. Thank you so much for the support on this podcast and with the views and the subscribers and on Instagram and on TikTok and on Twitter as well. Please do let us know. We have 2 forms in the description box. These forms are 1 for guest submissions. Let us know whose story you want us to tell. And if you have access to them, give us their contact and we will reach out to them on your behalf. Or the second one is we are forever improving Financially Incorrect. So there's a form where essentially you want to understand what you want more from us, what more you want from us. So please fill in those forms and we will be able to create a much better platform for you. And towards the end of the year, we have a lot of things coming up. There's supposed to be a show sometime in Uganda towards the end of the year. There's a couple of things we're trying to do for the Financially Incorrect community here as well. By the time this goes out, we have done Val, we have done our engagement with, either we've done or we should be in the process of doing the Singleton one, and we've done the Old Mutual one as well. So we're trying to create much better engagement for you guys. So please let us know in the description box. So for today, our money story comes from none other than Karanja Ndegwa, who is the MD and CEO of Jambojet Limited. He's an accomplished leader with over 25 years of experience in the aviation industry, 15 years of which have been in the senior leadership roles, a graduate of economics and statistics from the University of Nairobi, and a certified public accountant. And just a bit of context about Jambojet and how well they're doing. They've received multiple significant awards, most notably being named Africa's leading low-cost airline at the World Travel Awards for its 4th consecutive win. And this was in June 2025. Additionally, the airline has been recognized for its operational reliability, winning the 2019-8-400 Africa Middle East Reliability Award for its commitment to timely departures and for its customer relations. And I think the last one is the best collaboration in customer engagement at the Aviation Challenge in January 2025. Yeah, so welcome to Financially Incorrect.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for having me, Barak.
Yeah. You guys have a lot of awards.
Let me say, we have quite a number of good people, and we have to do it together.
Yeah,
I know it's normally said that that one African saying that says you can't wash your hand with one hand. You need both hands to clean. Right. So we strongly believe that working together takes us to the next level, and always get people who are even better than you. Yeah.
So we're talking about this just before we started recording, and I was asking you, you guys have won a lot of awards and some consecutively. Yeah. Is it that the competition is, not there, or they're not doing their part, or are you guys that good?
No. Let me say we are continuously improving. Mm-hmm. What we do is that every year we do surveys, and we ask customers what they give us feedback. And out of that feedback, we're able to see the areas that you're doing well, we continue doing well, and the areas that customers are asking us, we would be happy if you would address this and that. Those are the things that we take up and continuously work on improving. There are those ones that we are able to do immediately. There are those ones that we take a longer time. But at the back of your mind is always figure out, since we're in the service industry, what are these things that we need to constantly do and listen more to the customer? Because you can be telling them. But the thing is that take some time and listen more to what the customer is saying and address their aspects. Because the moment you address that, then you start separating. You need to be everyone is quite a number of people in this industry. But the thing is that what are these things that you need to do that makes you different? Yeah. What are these things that you need to do to make that customer come back over and over again?
Yeah. A question on that, what you talk with regard to customer feedback. What's the most impactful piece of feedback that you received from a customer that had genuine, real impact on your bottom line?
Customers have always indicated, I want to leave on time. So can you address this? I remember 2016, it was not a good year towards the end of the year. And we had to make some decisions in terms of even the aircraft that we bring. So we had to bring in new aircraft whose reliability was quite high. And the following year, we had the best award. We won the award, the most reliable airline within Africa and Middle East. But we needed to address that concern that came from the customers. Even the equipment that we had, even the people that we on board, you can be technically good. But if serving another person, you find difficulty, even if it's a pilot or an engineer, if you are having that difficulty in serving, then you're in the wrong place.
Yeah.
So even making decisions on who do we bring on board and the type of equipment, that for me, was the most impactful feedback that we received. We had even to go out and apologize. And after that, one of our most single item that we look out for is schedule integrity. Because there are people who buy tickets a year before, and they know they are going to leave at 10 a.m. How do you make sure that you leave at 10 a.m. as you promised a year back? Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
We've talked about going and getting a different aircraft.
Yeah.
How did the aircraft that you guys had at that time in 2016, how did that impact the leaving on time?
The aircraft that we were using that time were about 15, 17 years old. And we had some 737s that we had from Kenya Airways. And what we did is that we looked at, for the Kenya Airways aircraft, it was too big for the market that we were serving. So the hoping Eldoret, Kisumu, then back to Nairobi, customers did not want, they just wanted to go straight to Kisumu. They didn't want to have that stop. So we had to make a decision, which is the type of equipment that works best for this region. And when we did our assessment, we went for the Q400. With the Q400, that time we used to do 2 flights a day to Kisumu and Eldoret, but they were all triangular. So what we had to do is to come in with a smaller equipment, and we were operating 3 times a day. That way it was a direct flight. And the other equipment that we had also started with were about 15, 16 Q400 year old. So we signed an agreement and we brought in our first 6 aircrafts were fresh from shop. Slightly more expensive, but the ambience, their reliability was very good. And out of that, we were able to win back customers because we really reduced our delays. Our measure is always on-time performance worldwide is measured how many minutes when you leave within 15 minutes. How many flights did you leave within 15 minutes? How many did you leave 0 minutes? So as we speak, our on-time performance is about 81%.
81% of your departure within 15 minutes of the time you said you're going to leave.
Yes.
Okay. So if I've understood you correctly, because in 2016 you're doing triangular flights and the stopovers at these different locations, that was leading to the delays that people would have.
Yes, it was leading, and then also the age of the aircraft. You'd have they needed more time on ground,
right, or to
be serviced.
Right.
So there are times that you would not be ready.
Okay.
So, but bringing in the new aircraft, that really helped us to be on time.
Okay.
Yes.
What does a delay? Because if you're flying and there's a delay, whether it's here, whether it's in what do you call it? These stopover flights. What impact does a delay have on your bottom line as an airline? Like, how much money do you lose if you lose money if you delay an airline and flight?
First and foremost, there are passengers who will opt elsewhere. Because if you have a 2-hour delay and I have a connecting flight, what I'll do is that I will ask, I need a refund. I jump to the next flight so that I can connect. Or if I had a business meeting, I will quickly get an alternative.
Right.
So definitely they will find about 6, 7, 8% of passengers will quickly jump to competition. What that does, the impact is bigger. It's not as much during that day. Because there are people who will say, yes, I was going, I still have time, but next time I'll think twice. So there are those people who will still give that 1 hour delay, 2 hours delay, but they will still fly. But I can assure you, next time when they think of traveling, they will remember the delay. And they will try someone else.
Right.
So the impact in the business is not as much on the day of travel. The impact is futuristic.
Right.
And that's why we normally say loyalty is a big thing. How do you, by being on time, by being a safe airline, that always wins that repeat customer. You'd rather have a customer talk about you positively than your advertisements. Because people will believe the person who has experienced you more than when you spend out.
Right.
So the thing is that we keep asking, you've flown 1.3 million passengers. If those passengers went out and talked positive and said about your service out there, your market will just grow.
Right.
Yeah. So the thing is that how do you constantly make that journey memorable, that they say, whenever I want to travel, I choose Jambojet. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, typically when I start this podcast, I usually start with a question that has nothing to do with what we're talking about today. And I skipped that part. So allow me to go back and ask you this. In your life so far, what's one thing that you know to be 100% true?
One thing that I know, I think for me, one thing is being in a place whereby know where you're going. Be credible. No one will ever entrust a business to you if you're not credible. If you don't have that integrity, I normally say even a thief will not employ another thief to watch over there. They will always look for someone who will take care of what they have. So credibility is that one will take you places in business. And are you trusted in what you're saying. When you say we have done this to our business, we have invested this on safety, even to your own people, the people that you're working with, if people feel that they can't trust you, you're done.
Yeah.
You're gone.
Yeah.
Yeah. So for me, credibility stands very high. Yeah.
So that's the one thing that 100% be true, and it makes sense.
Yeah.
And I want to get to know you a little bit better as well in this process. So even with this credibility being such a big part of your life philosophy, so to speak, is that something that is innate? Is that something that you were taught as a kid? Did your parents pass that down to you, or where did that come from?
For me, it started from my upbringing. And also life lessons,
Right.
because I have made mistakes here and there. But let me say, from my upbringing, my parents, mom was a civil servant, father was also a civil servant. Then moved to business when I was still around 14, 15 years. But one thing that I can say that they inculcated in us was we are 5 of us, and I grew up in a farm, whereby by the age of 11, 10 years, I could go to the market and sell milk. After milk, just taking that jerry can with a tree top. I remember we were using the tree top. That was the standard measure.
Right.
That was in the early 80s. And by 10 years, I would go with my 5 liters, sell, come back with the return.
Right.
And with no cash lost. And so I believe that also brought in. And even I remember my mom had a butter shop. And by the time I was 14, 15, I would be in that shop alone, run it, calculate, indicate the stock required. And then, so it would always be, so those are aspects that I can say I learned the art of business at that time. The profits are not that high. But I could see out of what they were earning, the things that they could do.
Right.
And investments is not a short term. It's always a long term.
Right.
We're in a generation today where I want something instantly. I've learned over time, wealth creation takes time.
Yeah.
It's never, you tell me people are earning 70% there, I'll be very honest, I'll not join you. Because I believe I have seen instances whereby I made one mistake, but let me say it's about, and also business. Once we are also in our day-to-day running a business, putting a plan together, achieving it for the whole year, it is not achieved at the end of the year. It is achieved on a daily basis.
Right.
When if I come back and take from the Jambojet aspect, our budgets are not a figure for the whole year. It is a figure for 1st of January. How many flights are you going to operate? At what price do you expect? And then there is 2nd. There is that. So our budgets are on a daily basis. So for you to achieve the 365 target, it is attained on a daily basis, so that by the end of the following day, the first report that we get is our performance yesterday and how the next 14 days look like.
Okay. That's interesting, and I'm going to come back to that. I do want to track back to where you're telling me about, I guess, your interaction with money. You seem like you're exposed to money very early on, and more importantly, you were responsible for money very early on. Did your parents teach you directly about money? Did they ever sit you down and actually directly talk to you about money?
Not really. Let me say they never.
Yeah.
They did not. But what we did is that we were involved in the family activities. And by involvement, you'd either in the shamba, you either going to take, either you gone to the shop, or someone else has gone to take milk to the shops. Those days we didn't have the dairy. Today there is a dairy where we just take. But those days it used to be you go, stand somewhere, wait for the customer, sell. So we were never told about. They never sat us down to take us, but it became a way of living. And interestingly, 4 of us are accountants out of the 5.
Yeah.
Are accountants. But what I saw is by the time, definitely, I could see them after some time buy a property, and you could see where it was coming from. But it took time. It took them 6-7 years, adding another property here, another. And I can say our gap is we all within 10 years. Remember when I was in 3rd year, my sisters were in 1st year, my brothers were in Form 1 and Form 2. It was very heavy. At that season, I can assure you, that season where we were all in school, high school and university, it was very heavy financially for them. And whatever they had, that's what took us through school. And I can say in a period of about 8-10 years, that was their time to educate us.
Right.
But if they had not done what they had done before, I can assure you, I'm not very sure whether they would, let me say clearly, they would not have managed.
Okay.
To see us through school.
And so do you then pursue accounting because of, I guess inadvertently all this accounting experience that you've had at your parents' shops, or what are the things that lead you towards accounting and studying?
Actually, accounting, even when I finished my 4th form, I did not choose accounting. I really wanted to do more or less something like engineering. And when I joined campus, I joined Bachelor of Science. But in between that, high school and university, I joined Strathmore just to do accountancy as I waited to join the university.
Right.
By the time I was joining the university, I had finished. I was doing my 3rd
level.
There are 3 levels.
Yeah.
Which each has 2 sittings. I was in my middle level. And I liked it. So by the time I was joining the university, I knew science, I'm out. So I went and changed courses.
Okay.
On day 1,
Right.
I went in and changed courses. And that's how I moved to accountancy.
Okay.
Yeah, so it even having that background in accountancy did not. I still hadn't bought to it fully by the time I was finishing my 4th form.
Okay.
Yeah.
I see. And when you're in university, do you start? Because I guess a lot of students who by the time they get to university, whatever pocket money they are being given or whatever money they're getting from the bursary isn't enough, and they begin to explore in entrepreneurial ventures to try and make more money. Is that similar for you as well? Do you have a similar story?
No. For me, it wasn't. But let me say, I was a good saver.
Yeah.
I never lacked. I had my money. I had my savings. But I never had any entrepreneur. I think I was very busy with my studies and also finishing my CPAs, because by that year I had finished my CPAs by the time I was finishing my 3rd year.
And what were you saving for at that time?
Basically, I was just let me say, I wasn't saving for. I was just saving for at least to make sure at least I'm able to have enough Remember my first stocks, and interestingly, my first stocks that time, that is not what I remember. My first stocks to buy were the Kenya Airways stocks, and that was in 1996.
And your university at that point?
That time, yes. And remember buying my first, that time it was an IPO. And I remember my folks adding another, whatever I had, they gave me a similar amount to. So basically, I started, that's, my first investment were in an IPO. That was I remember very well, it was at the KQ 1996 IPO.
Okay.
Yeah.
And this is basically the money that you had been saving all through university. Okay.
Yes, because I had my what we used to call the boom, and I would always get something, a little pocket money from my folks, just to supplement it. So, which the additional amount,
right?
I still had some money.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what happens after you finish university?
After I finished university, I thought that I would get a job immediately with the audit firms, and because the people that I had done CPAs with, we were finishing, and the following week, they had a job. That was not the case. I did not get a job immediately, but I joined my father. As I was looking for a job, I was helping him to put the structures together.
It's fine.
Yeah.
Continue. Yeah.
I was helping him to put the structures because he was a tire distributor. So I remember I would go to Firestone, distribute the tires, put the orders in place, go the following day, make payments. And I remember he used to pay me 3,000 shillings.
Per day or per month?
Per month.
Okay.
It was 3,000 shillings for the month.
Right.
That was because I finished in September. That was between October 1998 to June 1999.
Okay.
98.
And in this period, you're also looking for a job.
I was looking for a job.
Okay.
And it was a bit frustrating, being not, because I thought with CPAs, a graduate at that time, I would easily get. And it was quite humbling. By April, it was very clear I slowed down, and I decided, you know what, I'll be a businessman.
Okay.
And a few people that I had met in the business community, my mind now had shifted to do business. And around the month of July, I got a job with Cooperative Bank.
Okay. Which
I was there for a year. Then moved to Kenya Airways. Okay. That was in April 2000. I joined KQ April 2000.
April 2000.
Yeah. Okay. So, but I normally say that experience of being out that time taught me to whatever I get, I hold on to, because it was not easy, and I was so when I got to the bank and later to KQ, I really held on to that. And for me, I was in that space whereby I would just take CVs and walk and look for just any place that I thought that I can. I would walk in and drop my CV.
Yeah. Okay. So I want to talk about this because KQ is the owner of Jambojet, yes. Right? And how many low-cost airlines are there in Kenya?
I think today it's one.
Is it only one?
I think
are the others
are. Let me say they are hybrid.
Okay.
They're hybrid.
Like what are they called? Those are the guys.
Yes. The others. The others.
I thought there are more. I thought there'd be more.
You see, the low-cost model is also is different because we have about six models.
Okay.
At the far end, there is a ultra low-cost carrier.
Mm-hmm.
These are the very low-priced high frequency, one type, no bag, they charge you for everything.
It's like a matatu.
Yes.
Yeah.
That is a ultra. And the far end is there's a legacy where you find the first class, the luxurious travel. But in between, there are quite a number of classes.
Right.
You find quite a number of airlines, these others in Kenya. More or less, I find them as hybrid.
Okay.
Between the low cost and the legacy. Jambojet is a service low cost carrier, whereby you target on having schedule integrity, deepen your brand, then also aspects of the ancillary. We charge for bags. We are costs in Africa for airlines is different. You never meet the costs in the other parts of the world for reasons that I'll mention later. But we are more or less a service LCC.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I like a bunch of things that you've said, and the reason why I was saying that is because I wanted to find out how many airlines, how many low-cost airlines we have in general, to try and figure out how you worked your way to be the CEO of one of, I don't know, my estimate would be like 7 companies, 8.
Yes. Let me say it's a leading LCC because we have a market share of 53%.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm curious about I guess a person who went into a career as an employee and I guess have worked their way up to get into the position that you're in right now, right? Yeah. So anyway, so you start. What's the position you start? You start at KQ.
I started as a senior accountant.
As a senior accountant with 1 year experience, or is it because of the
1 year experience, but also because that time the number of people who used to finish CPAs were very few. So moving in as a graduate and a certified public accountant, you'd easily move to senior.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
What are the things that allowed you to excel at that role?
Yeah, I think for me, let me say I was quite fortunate because when we joined, we were quite a number of us. And there's this one area known as revenue accounting. Revenue accounting was an area no one wanted to go to. Because
what is revenue?
Revenue accounting. Revenue accounting is a department that accounts for the passenger revenues, all the sales, and the bills between airlines. So you find at that time it was paper. So you'd get a manifest with all these tickets. If you had 130 passengers, so it will be a list of passengers and all this. So you have to key in each. So it was a tedious. And then
tabulate it.
And tabulate it and then close that return. It will now account. So I was now the accountant. There were quite a number of people, about 130 that time, who used to do the processing. So it was an area that was tedious and no one wanted. But I think that for me, I'm glad that was the area that I started. Because that's the heartbeat of the airline. Because out of that, you'll be able to generate and determine how much you've made, ensure that all sales are done, because all sales will also come back, each folded, and they will have all the sales for the day, and each ticket has to be captured one by one with the whole routing.
That seems very tedious.
It was a tedious process. And with that, I, as an accountant, am called upon to make sure that all sales are accounted for and collected. All revenues per flight are identified, accounted for, and you're able to say this is how much we made. Yeah? And then be in a position, because you have a BA ticket, you have a KLM ticket, process it, and on a weekly basis, bill those carriers. And you have to do it within 6 months. So that whole process taught me about airline. And I remember I got to a point whereby I knew it offhand. Remember, with that time we had about 60 accounts to reconcile. And I knew them, all the entries back to back.
What did it take to even have that? I mean, are you working extra hours? Because it sounds like a very tedious
Let me say
process.
it was a tedious process. It was a tedious process, but it was the best ground to learn. I have been in the office that time. You work during the day, the whole night because there's a deadline, and morning gets you there.
So you've not even showered?
I know, you are still where people left you seated.
There you are.
They find you there because everyone has finished. Now it's you to finish and make sure that those documents and the reports are out.
Yeah.
So what that did, I'm a statistics student. It enabled me to be in a position to be able to even write, to script programs and generate reports. So with that, it got to a point whereby anyone needed a report on the performance, they would say, go to Ndegwa. So that put me in a pedestal whereby I had now any decision, most of the decisions in terms of
they'd come to you.
It also put me it was a very good period because the IATA automation happened. That was between 2008 to 2010, around 9. The automation happened. And at that time, you have to be at the center of it. So I was deep in there because for me, these were exciting moments. To have these processes
that
automated manually.
Now
And we were able to clear a backlog. There's a time the backlog was about 11 months. We were able to clear that backlog to bring it current with the automation. With the automation, you are seated in between generations. That people are fearing, our jobs are going to...
It's like the AI thing that's happening
Yes,
now.
I'm actually coming there. I'm actually even coming. Yeah. So I was in between generations where people felt, this is taking our jobs. So people did not want to get involved in that project. So, but for me, it was exciting. I was part of that project. And when IATA stopped the paper, I had understood the systems, everything. That way, got to a point whereby when even airlines in Africa would be asked, I remember I was sent to Precision. That's how I went to Precision for 3 years. Because they were losing money. And I had to go and automate that process for them. Then came back to head the division. But I was very fortunate to be in a space whereby when people said, no, we don't want, I got into it.
You jumped
into it.
Yeah.
We automated, met our deadlines, and the rest is history. When Jambojet, when I went to Precision, was there for 3 years, automated that process, cleared everything, came back now to head the division now at KQ.
Okay, I want to ask you a question. I want to work you back to, when you're starting out this career and doing all these manual processes and working very hard, sounds like 24-hour shifts in some spaces. Yeah. Is your pay commensurate to the amount of work you're putting in?
No. It wasn't. It wasn't. It was. At one point, I was very bitter.
Yes.
Because I would find people in other departments we are the same level.
Yeah.
But you have 4-5 people. You've given me 130 people to lead, and we are the same pay.
Yeah.
So I honestly looked for a job.
Yeah.
But what that did, it opened doors. The automation really made it easier, and I could tell what to touch and where we are losing money and how to quickly sort it out.
Okay.
But let me say, it was
There was tough.
there days it was tough. Yeah.
And with whatever amount of money you're making at that point in time, what are you doing with it? What's your budgeting process? What's happening in your personal life at that time?
In my personal life, I remember I married. That was the year 2003. Had our first child, a daughter, 2004. But I felt sorry for my wife.
Oh, why?
Because I remember taking her to hospital, and in between that time, I was still working and going to hospital end of day. So I couldn't even see her during, because there were some deadlines that I needed. I remember taking her from hospital, and when we got home, imagine I went to work.
Immediately.
Yeah.
When you look back now, do you regret it? Do you feel, because I feel like sometimes in the moment, and now that's maybe your person at that age would say it. In the moment, it felt important, to go back to work and to complete this deadline. And if you didn't, things would crumble. But now, when you're looking back, do you feel like you had put too much pressure on yourself from a work perspective, and that you did have a lot more time than you'd say?
I think I should have been surrounded by a few more people whom we could cover each other.
Yeah.
How bad it was is, remember 2000, around that time, we KQ decided to buy our leaves. I think I had about 80 something days. That shows I had not gone on leave for 4 years.
You're not going to leave for 4
years. Yes. And sometimes you ask yourself, how did we manage? And those are the regrets that I have, that I should have requested for a few more people to work with and bring them to speed. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's what's happened. And then, so other than your your growing family at that particular point in time, have you grown your investment portfolio? Because you started investing in university, buying stock in university.
Yes.
In the company that now you're working for.
Yes.
Have you begun to expand your investment portfolio at that time?
Yeah, definitely. I remember we had some savings, and this was our first mistake, where around the airport, I had some friends, and they were exporting horticultural products, and I could see they were doing very well.
Yes.
My wife was just like, no, let's put a deposit for this house. And I decided, no, let's quickly put it here. And we lost that amount of all of it.
Yeah. Was it a significant sum?
It was because it was about $1 million shillings.
Yeah.
That time, and that was our first million, and we lost all.
They say you should listen to your wives.
I did not listen, and it was a very humbling season.
What went wrong?
We started working with this company, and the next thing, when we bought the products, we sent the first, the second, but we were never paid. So the capital was out, and you're waiting for it, and that was it.
Yeah.
It was a first in, first out.
Yeah.
It became a court case. Then we just decided, just leave it. Lessons learned. Let's pick the lessons. And let's move on. There. I think after that, I learned to as I invest, it became a long term. One of the decisions that I picked very fast. I decided that I will not invest in a business that I don't understand. Then the second aspect was, I decided between joining Kenya Airways, I grew quite within those five years. It was like a promotion every
And again, this
every
was
year.
the unique skill set that you had
Yes.
acquired and the valuable
Yes.
insight you're bringing to the business.
Yes, moving supervisor, manager, assistant manager, being moved to position, coming again to. So within a span of about 7 years, I had grown to about five positions up. And at that moment, I had decided I'm a career person. I'm not going to. The way you have one foot in biashara and another one in here, I just decided it's career, and I'll put it all. I think that was the second best decision that I made. A point whereby even the investments that we now made as a family, not as we made as a family, were investments that were not very involving. I'll be very honest with you, I don't have that much time to look after another business out there. So it is an investment that has a lower return, but consistently, I know it is, I'm okay.
Right.
And I stayed away from the
quails,
the time-consuming investments that have a higher return. It was very clear that's not mine. So the moment I made that decision as a family, now I'm not sure whether my wife will be very happy for me to share much. But in the real estate, where you have built 2, 3, 4 houses here, over a period of 6, 7 years, you're done. Because it takes time. I know people want to put their money and start getting a return. Mine is
over time.
Make sure that this is a 6-year project, complete it, then you start getting your return 6 years down the road. But it is over time. So the returns are not as high as 8%, 9%. But it is worth. It is worth, so that at least, you also don't want to work and ask yourself, after all this hard work, what do I have?
Okay. I have a couple of questions for you. One is as a would all be considered a newly married person who has not have been in the circumstance where you've been, where your wife has said, let's do this. You say, no, let's do this. You put the money elsewhere, and then, the money goes. What's that conversation like when you realize the money is gone? What's the conversation like when you come back to the house to say this million shillings has, disappeared?
First and foremost, they're going to know later. So say it as early as possible. Because what you'll do is that you'll start the lying, the business is going on. Okay, how is it going? You lie again next week. Over time, you will. It will not be an interesting conversation. So immediately it happened. I was just like, I think I've lost the money. Just like, I told you, of course, a week, 2 weeks, even for her money was also part of it in there. Of course, she's annoyed. She's and by the time you're coming around, it's 2 months. But after the 2 months, it is more or less now you both of you have accepted that you very, and also you get to a point whereby, because you can extend it over a year. By showing, things, you show that things the business is still on. That time things went out, done, you're done, and
completely.
You end up also taking a lot of your time following. The moment I realized it is done, of course, I didn't tell her immediately. Of course, I bought it a week, 2 weeks, just trying to see, is it really gone? So by the time it was, let me say, it was not a good conversation. It's not a conversation that I want to have again.
I can imagine. And then with this career growth, so moving up, you said five positions in 7 years, thereabout, right? I have two questions on that. One, is this the unique skill you told us about at the beginning of the episode, is that unique skill the key thing that's allowing you to, move up this quickly? And then the second question that I have around that is, for the employer, are they also giving you money equivalent to your positions? Or, because I know for some young people, they are happy with the position, or are they just like promoting you without and you're basking in the promotion, but there's no compensation that's being added upon?
Definitely. When you there's always a structure,
right?
The challenge is when you grow internally, you move to the entry level. So you'll find people who came from out
end up
because they were able to negotiate. But for you, when you are growing, you are at entry level. So even among peers, you feel sometimes, I would feel, no, I don't think I'm being compensated enough. So I had those moments. But even with the skill, what has happened over time, it enabled me to grow. Let me say, I still grew. And I remember, So I still grew within the organization, but also gave me the opportunity because I don't know whether I can bring in the Jambojet story.
Yeah, please.
Because the Jambojet story was also when Jambojet was being formed. They asked who can help set up this. It's just like, there's a guy here. That's how I got in. And the former CEO, I helped set up the finance and the revenue department, which was the most, because that's quite regulatory and someone with the knowledge on how to go about it. And then the rest of the finance. So I was doing my
day job,
but also helping set up this. So you'd end up working 6 days, 2 days here, 4 days here. When Jambojet started, I was asked to go back to Jambojet. When everyone else that we were setting up different departments, I was asked to go back, and I asked everyone else has remained. I've been told to go back to my job. So I quickly jumped and asked.
So if I understood you, so everybody who helped on the project remained at Jambojet.
There was engineering, there was sales, there was flight operations, the departments.
Yeah.
So they stayed
at Jambojet.
You
were told to go back to KQ.
After sitting. So I was asked to go back, and I had a sitting with the CEO and asked him, you know what? I've really liked this low-cost model. I would want to come in and head the finance. That was the discussion that we had also with the CEO, KQ. Then that was Titus. Then they allowed me to move. That's how now I moved to Jambojet. And what was exciting was low-cost model was quite disruptive in Europe around that time.
This is like the
Ryanairs, EasyJet, Transavia, AirAsia, this other side. So they had become very disruptive, but they were very. Their growth was double digits, and there was something new happening in the world, and I felt I want to be part of this. So that's how now I got into Jambojet as the head of finance, and later as the CFO.
Right.
And I think for me, I can state that moving from paper to paperless, I think that was first transformational moment for me. The second was introduction of the low-cost carrier, and the third for me was COVID. Because
but by the time we go to COVID, you were acting.
Now, before I got to the acting,
right,
I was a CFO, and I was asked, when Alan moved to Kenya Airways, I was asked on the 1st of April to take up acting. And on the 6th of April, 6 days after my acting, I hadn't even signed the letter. I hadn't even signed the acting letter.
Yeah.
The country was shut down, COVID, and all aircrafts were grounded. And I think for me, that was one of the most defining moments, because as an accountant, I had to deal with the lessors and tell them, by the way, we have your aircraft here, but we can't pay you. We are not flying. I looked at the bank, the amount of money we had, and I had to look at staff and tell them, by the way, we have to earn less. So there were pay cuts. But just know you're not going to get anything after. So if from the CEO, I remember earning 30% of my pay.
You're earning 30% of your pay.
And the lowest grade, they were earning 70% of their pay. And at that moment, all what we needed to do was to make sure that everyone had food on the table and they had a roof on over their head for their families. And we had these constant engagements about with people on what happens. And people would ask me, what are we going to do? I would tell them, I don't know. Openly. Because no one knew. And would say, we'll meet again next week. Let's see how this pans out. Yeah. And next week, we'll look around and say, but every month, at least we had something for everyone. And I think after that moment, we had a very good bond as people. And as we closed the whole, as COVID came to an end, we were able to really come back more united. I think, and that's why I normally say COVID was also had its blessing. We came out more united and together. And after that, let me tell you, the growth that we've had since COVID is far much more than before COVID. Yeah. Before COVID, we used to grow by about 7-8%. We are growing by 20% every year.
And how would you attribute this unity to this 20% growth? Like, what is it that the team are doing differently? Are they more committed? Are they more innovative?
I think for me, we became more innovative. We listened to each other more. Jambojet is not a one-man, it's not a Karanja. It's each person knows this is my input towards that goal. And we ask ourselves, where do we want to go? We say we want to go there. How are we going to get there? My part, the part that I'm going to play, maintenance people will say, my part is this. Pilots will say, my part is this. Everyone picks their part. And the more we came out more aligned as a people. And if you ask us, what are the 7 top things that we are working on? It will be the same across departments. Yeah. And with that unification, we can say this year, out of the amount of money we are going to make, we are going to spend more on maintenance because we need to move maintenance. So everyone knows, in my department, for the next 2 years, it will be minimal. But we're investing in maintenance for these reasons. So it becomes very clear, and we are more united, more aligned. And let me say there is that aspect about care. And when you really, initially when you'd ask like customer experience, you'd ask a maintenance person, hiyo si kazi yangu. That is
someone else.
That is, those guys at the airport, that is their work. But today, each person can tell you what they do
that affects the customer experience.
The customer experience. Yeah.
How have you led that and achieved that as the CEO of Jambojet? And the reason I'm asking is because I know a lot of big companies have these very similar objectives or these very similar targets you're talking about, but then struggle to cascade these elements, down the chain to, like you're saying, where people at the entry level or everybody is truly working towards one objective. Like, what are the things that you guys do practically, or what you can tell us that have allowed for Jambojet to be this?
Okay.
Yeah.
First and foremost, we have a five-year strategy that has been approved by the board. With that 5-year strategy, each department has their input. There is a strategy team that meets every Wednesday, 8 to 10. And what they do is that they assess where are we going, and they will come in and share with the big, what are we seeing in the market. With that, we'll be able we'll be in a space that becomes the team that more or less sets up the goals forward. As we share, each department comes in, and when we share across the departments, each department comes in and checks, what are these things that I need to do from my department to achieve that? So we'll have those discussions with now departments. So when we are going to the board, each department has their input, and it is very clear. That's our goal, and that is each leader will present how are they supporting that goal. With that, you end up now having a unified. So every week, we have the strategy on Wednesday, 8 to 10, to review and to assess, are we still on track? Every Monday, I can assure you, every Monday by 9:30, by 9, I have the results for the previous week. But not at your numbers of passengers. Even
so you can tell me how much you guys made last week. How much did you make last week?
It was a profit. It was a profit.
Yeah.
And I can tell how much each flight made. I can tell how much each route made. And that's the purpose of automation.
Yeah.
That's why you also need to surround yourself with these young people. Let me tell you, I'll get there.
Yeah.
With that, in the afternoon, for an hour, we will assess the performance with a different team. And each person knows where are we this week and how are the next 4 weeks looking. And decisions will be made. This flight is not doing well. That flight is not doing well. What are you going to do? Within an hour, we are done. And each one knows because it's 2 to 3, I can assure you by 4, someone in marketing who is promoting a flight, you will see that message sent. And the following day, there's someone following. So there is, automation has helped. But also, what has happened is that with analysis, do a lot of analysis, work very closely with people, have everyone know what is happening, and in case there's something, and then also on a weekly basis, we have the departmental leadership meeting every Tuesday, 10 to 11. We don't do long meetings. So you pick. I always ask myself, where should I spend my time as a leader? You have to lead with a plan and with a purpose. What is our purpose? So that plan has to be very clear, because clarity is everything, and courage. I tell you, if you are to go places, it is not for the faint-hearted.
What's been your most courageous moment as a CEO, or as the CEO of Jambojet?
I think for me, COVID.
Yeah.
COVID. I remember during COVID, we set up a route in 2 hours. When let me tell you, we had it was in between COVID.
Yeah.
And I remember we had a board meeting, and I had told the board, now these are the places that we are going. At 2 p.m., the former president, Excellency Uhuru Kenyatta, shuts and closes Nairobi, no flights out, because COVID was. So, and they were closing they were closing the borders. Remember that time, Pale
Yes,
Kitengela,
yes,
Nini,
yes.
at 7. So I sat and everyone wanted to come back from Nairobi. Anyone who wanted to be out were buying flight. And I remember there's a moment I felt defeated was that because we had built some cash and the previous day we had spent it. So we didn't have cash for the next
next day.
Because I didn't know how long he was going to close the place. And I was just like, okay, for the next 2 months, I'm not very sure. The cash that we have, we can only pay people for 2 months. At around 4, people asked, I remember one of the managers came and asked me, why can't we go set up base in Mombasa? And we fly people between Mombasa and Kisumu. And it's like, yeah, that's a good idea. So we called, I wrote, there was a letter I had to sign. It was rushed to KCA. I called the DG. That time you can't wait for them to wait for your letter. Yes. So you tell them there's this letter that is coming and this is what we want. Okay, just like as he gets there, he's checked with his people, they get the approval. I can tell you 5 minutes to 7. We had the pilots, cabin, maintenance people moving and setting up base. 5 minutes to 7 p.m. We had 2 aircrafts following each other, full of passengers who were ordered to get out of Nairobi, and full of with the staff who needed to set base there, approved base, and the rest is history. Today, that route is still there and doing well. But it was set up in 2 hours. I think, and that is the agility that I say.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
What difference does that decision make for you during this period where you're saying there's low cash flow?
Definitely, you see now people between Mombasa, Kisumu, and Eldoret were flying a lot. You see them; they were moving a lot, and that is what we helped us to survive for those 2 months, because it was closed for almost about 6 weeks. And after that, that route, it enabled us to have at least cash that we could pay and meet the very demanding needs that we needed to. But also, one thing I can say, having your accounts current with the lessors and everyone enabled, because you could call and tell people, we are not going to pay you. You know our accounts are current, we've always been current, but we are not generating enough to pay you. So we end up having an agreement whereby we say, okay, you can only pay us this much. We can only pay you this much because, and we changed also some of those agreements to pay only that what we could fly. So the relationship, let me say, was very important. And I've come to see for airlines, relationships have become, you cannot grow an airline without people. You have to really believe and get the right people. And when you get the right people, believe in them.
Yeah. And you had said you want to talk about something with surrounding yourself with young people. I don't know if this is a place you can bring it in.
You know, as we move on, there's the AI, and the AI is catching up. I'm still trying to, you can see, now I have gray hair, and I'm trying to catch up, but I can't. I'm still struggling. But there are people here who are very good in this area. But one thing that I can see, the next aspect is, if we don't, you need to surround yourself with people who are very good in this technology now, in readiness for the next level. And if I get, for me, I did my part. I did my part, and I cannot, I need to allow others to do their part. But I need to listen more to them. And it's exciting. Some of these analyses that they do, you look at it, you ask yourself, how did you do this? I simply can't do it. But get these people who are very good, who are with the times, and what that does, is if you look at the travelers today, most of the travelers are between the age of 22 and 35. That makes out about over 50%, over 60% of our travelers. The way they are tech savvy.
Yeah. You guys have to be tech savvy.
I have to, personally, I have to catch up.
Yeah.
The way my kids deal with the phone, I have to sometimes ask for assistance. So the thing is, they are able to connect more with the market that we have. And the Gen Zs tomorrow will become the most dominant in another 10 years. We become the biggest percentage of bookers in that. So the thing is that the more you understand their behavior and the way technology is going and how they want to book, you have to change.
Yeah.
I can't change. But this young generation will do it and do it with a lot of ease. Yeah. So I have to stay very close and also learn
the process as well.
The process. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're coming towards the end of our conversation, but there's a couple of things I want to I have to ask before we finish. So the first one is I'll ask you in your personal life, what's been a financial low point beyond the million shillings that investment that went under that you've had to navigate? Something that may be more around you just being in a difficult moment, Yeah.
Yeah. If I get you clearly, as a person,
yes,
as a personal,
you individually, yes, you
individually,
yeah.
I think for me, when I look at it, I can't say that. Let me say I plan a lot, and planning helps alleviate some of this. But there are moments that you can get it wrong. And as a person, I stick to you have to be so disciplined to stick sometimes to your plan. So sticking to the plan has helped me. I'm a person who budgets. We do a personal family, personal budget. And I know once my pay comes where it's going. You cannot be an impulse buyer that you find this where people are going, that I'm there. I will stick to my plan. That has helped me to alleviate some of those a lot of those issues. Yeah. So let me say I have not had challenging moments in terms of losing money or investments, because I'm okay with my first one. I'm okay with my 8% return, and that I know where to play, and I'm comfortable there.
Okay.
Yeah.
What about your happiest financial memory so far in your life? This could be from your childhood, it could be from your experiences, but what would you say is your happiest financial memory?
I think for me, my happiest moments is getting a property, struggling to pay for it, and then 8-10 years down the road, you'll find a tarmac road passes next to it, and the property goes 10 times. The value goes, even the plan that I had for it automatically changes. I think those are moments that I think for me that one was a very was a happy moment as a person, but also as a company. It's being in a place whereby you're hitting your targets and bottom line profits year on year. And because to me, this, I've never been a CEO before, Yes. I'm also learning on the job. I'm also learning. And just being in that space whereby when you set up our plan and you your execution is better, whereby you go and tell the board, by the way, the plan we had, I think it can be better. So in today's, our revenues are about 16 billion shillings. And achieving that and growing that by over 15% yearly and returning a profit bottom line, I think it's worth every moment.
That's a big those are big numbers.
Yes, and I normally say we do about 14,000 landings a year. Every week we are doing about 400 landings. For you to just ensure that that is done as a team and coordinating and working together as a team and achieving not only the landings, the flying, the maintenance, and ensuring that each and every seat is taken. Because you can fly, but you can fly empty. But but did you sell? Yeah. And at what price? What so, and what is the plan for next year? That for me is quite encouraging, and that makes me want to wake up the following morning to go do what I do. Yeah.
Okay. My final question, and this has to touches a bit on the fact that you come from an accounting background. You're head of finance, you're CFO, then you get into the the CEO position. There's at least in my experience with a couple of things that I've experienced personally and stories I've heard, when there are a number of organizations where when a person with an accounting background gets to the helm,
yes,
they become so money, almost pocket pinchers. They become so money driven that they don't take into account the brand, and so things like marketing begin to suffer. You're like, no, that doesn't give any money. I want to see a pure ROI and some of those things. Is that an experience that you've had to unlearn as the CEO and be willing to spend some money in some spaces in a way that your alignment or the way you're taught doesn't sort of work, and how does that work for you? How do you balance that out?
To be very honest, I believe in the first 2 years, marketing also suffered.
They suffered.
They suffered. And we talk about it. And over time, you end up seeing the value of each. You realize how much what strengthening a brand takes time, but you have to continuously talk about it. One of the things, as I told you, as being who I am, you don't want to shout about what you're doing. So you don't want to shout about the good things that you're doing. So the thing is, I want to say the results will speak.
Yes.
Let's wait. Tutakutana pale mwisho end of the I'll show you what we've been doing.
Yeah.
So that is who I am. But marketing have taught me, please celebrate your wins. Talk about people. Your customers want to know what you're doing. Celebrate the 9th million passenger. We did that 2 weeks ago. When you are bringing an aircraft, talk about it. Go to each market and let them know what you're doing and the plans that you have for them, because they have entrusted you. They choose you. So the thing is that you can't sit behind here and expect that they know
and just make finance decisions.
And make finance decisions. So over time, I've learned to be very, and not only we're in a very highly regulated industry. The trainings that you'd approve are the regulated. But anything else, so now if people have to grow, we are a growing airline. You need to ensure people get to know more about the customer, leadership. We are people who are growing internally. Don't allow them to just learn about leadership when they're in those positions. Prepare them. Start getting people more the soft skills. So you find over time, let me say it's a journey. It's a journey, and it's just to put the plan and everyone to come in and defend their budget, and then we actualize it. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
I think my final question is probably for people who may be in the career space and are looking to work their way up in a similar fashion that you did. If you were to draw back and look back onto your story, and maybe you've said this inadvertently, if you were to trace your journey from when you are starting out at KQ to becoming CEO of Jambojet and leading a company that's doing, we said 16 billion in revenues and achieving year-on-year targets and hitting profit. What are the key milestones that happen for you that allow you to become this person?
First and foremost, work with people. Because it is through people that you learn. Because people will not share information. You end up learning through people as you share. So first and foremost, just know you can't work alone. Secondly, learn what the customer wants in whatever you're doing. Just learn, who am I serving? And thirdly, just also keep checking and understanding where is technology, what taking us. That way you're able to be ahead of everyone. For you to, if you continue with the old ways, you'll shut down. And if you don't grow, you'll close. So you have to grow. So, but how are you growing? And just know, as a person, growth takes time. Even for your own investment, wealth creation, the real wealth creation. Let's not talk about the one that we see around.
Yes,
the real wealth creation takes time. And the thing is that people want it instant. And the world is very competitive. So it's you have to be quite ahead and just know what you want. You cannot be all over the place. You cannot be, if you decide this is where I want to stick to that and pursue it. But if you spend 3 years here, then you go 2 years to something else, another 3 years in another, by 10 years, you'll still be moving. But someone who has stuck to their path, you find they'll go places. They'll go places,
Wow, thank you so much. Thank you so much for coming onto this podcast and giving us information on Jambojet and yourself and giving a bit more of your story. I think I've definitely learned quite a bit. Final thing you want to say? Do you have a another financial tip or final thing you'd like to say? Maybe what we can expect to see from Jambojet this year or next year?
I think for Jambojet, we'll still keep focusing on the customer. And the more we listen to the customer, the more we will get places. I normally say, serve the customer well, do what you're required to do, and at the end of the day, it is profitable. Profits just follow. But if you do it the other way around, you will get it wrong. But start with your basics, your people. You have the right people, right training, and happy people. Your customers are happy. Your operations are working well. Once you have those fixed, profits follow.
But maybe, and just to maybe just ask, or maybe not push back, but just ask on that, because you see, it of course it makes sense. Follow the process, the profits will follow. But what of for someone who is under pressure, and you need to deliver profits today, and you can see that the system is all wrong. So what is it that you were given by, whether it was your board or your leadership, that allowed you to be able to say, I'll focus on getting the process right, and then the profits will follow?
Let me say, during COVID years, we made losses. And we even told the board we are going to make these losses. But these are the things that we are doing to get our processes right. And we invested time because 2020 was loss-making. 2019-18 were profitable. 20 was loss-making because we were grounded completely. 21 was still grounded. 22 was a recovery year. 23-24 were very good years. And 25 is a good year. So the thing is that during those times, you better be very real and say, this is what we can do given the circumstances. And one of the things that I love most today, I'm an accountant, but let me tell you, I don't deal with accounts anymore, and I'm happy. I did my part.
Yeah.
But I love strategy, whereby I'm asking myself, I can tell you the plan for next year and the following year is done. It is. I can tell you the things that we are doing next year, 2026, 2027, 2028. And the thing is, mine is to support people in operations, but keep looking, which are these, where do you want to see these organizations in another 10 years? That is what let me say that is what I'm paid to do. That is my job today.
Okay. Fair enough. Thank you very much, guys. If you have any further questions, please do put them in the comments. We will try and get them to him and see if he can answer them. Maybe we'll try and see if we can get him a second time to come on. It's taken forever to get him here this first time, but he's here. Anyway, thank you guys so much for listening to this podcast. Enjoy your rest of your day, whether it's a Friday or whatever day you're listening to this. We'll see you guys next week on the next episode of Financially Incorrect.